You're seeing people in Niger burning a French flag, attacking the French embassy, and surrounding a French military base. Do these scenes mark the end of French power in West Africa? And what did that power even look like? Algerian French journalist Nabila Ramdani explains.
France has effectively maintained a quasi-empire in Africa through its military presence, its political advisors, its cultural ties, and indeed its economic interests.
But this quasi-empire looks like it's crumbling, and the July 26th coup in Niger marked the loss of another key French ally in West Africa. Niger's coup leaders want to join other former French colonies like Burkina Faso and Mali, both ruled by military governments that oversaw the removal of French military presence in their countries.
Nigerians, like so many Africans, are now rejecting France-Afrique with just as much fervour as their forebears came to reject the official French Empire.
France-Afrique is a term used to describe France's complex network of ties to its former African colonies, or rather its neo-colonial power dynamic with those countries.
The French effectively wanted to hold on to their strategic military bases, as well as energy resources, but also favourable trade deals, and indeed financial control.
Niger is the world's 7th largest uranium producer and one of France's main uranium suppliers. But despite its rich resources, over 40% of Niger's population lives in poverty, surviving on around $2 per day. But what else is driving this anti-French sentiment?
You still also have the lingering influence of military and government advisors from Paris who have been permeating successive administrations in Niger, not least of all the one that has just been deposed. Just as importantly, French remains the official language for 25 million Nigerians.
Quick side note, Niger's neighbour Mali, also an ex-French colony, just voted to remove French as its official language.
But I would contend that the most enduring legacy of French colonialism is the CFA franc. It is a currency that was once pegged to the French franc, but it is now pegged to the euro. And it effectively gives France monetary hegemony over several African states, including Niger.
Another reason why anti-French sentiment has grown is because French military efforts have failed to stop armed groups in the region, affiliated with Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Niger's coup leaders are demanding the exit of roughly 1,500 French troops from the country, and the outcome for more than 1,100 US and European troops remains unknown. And though France is losing favour and facing backlash across the region, the verdict is still split. Niger is facing major sanctions, and many West African countries backed by the US and France are ready to launch an armed intervention to restore the ousted president. But while many different interests compete for power amid instability, why won't France let West Africa go?
Support for French meddling into African affairs was always encouraged by the United States. Former French colonies were seen by the Americans as bastions against the Soviet Union's geopolitical influence during the Cold War. The garrisons were originally said to be defending Africa against the spread of communism, but French economic interests were always the priority.